Damn, I'm about to fall and shit. Damn. Alright. What's going on YouTube? It's Kevin. I hope you guys are all having a great day. So, after weeks of trying to get it right and trying to think like what's going to be my first story time, I have narrowed it down to 4 topics. So, the first topic is my first HIV test. The second one is depression after a relationship. Third is lottery addiction. And the fourth one is my coming out story. Now, what I have done is I have wrote the topics down and I put them in a bag. Now, whichever one I pull out will be the first ever story time for you guys. Now, I tried this once. Like, I recorded probably about 10 minutes ago, and I did pick one story out, but I didn't like how the video not started, but you know, I just had to start over. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm sure if I'm going to talk about it. So if I pull this one out again, I'm really going to be like, oh my God, I really have to talk about it. It's meant to be. So, and I added one. So I added one. I added, at first it was 3, then it's 4. So here we go. Gonna shake this bag up. Gonna shake this bag up. Hey, look guys, my stomach is going down. Can you believe that? No sucking of that. This is sucking of that. Anyway, so I'm shaking this bag up. So let's see what's going to come out. Let's see. All right, no cheating, no looking into the bag. No looking into the bag. I'm shuffling them up. All right, here we go. Oh, boy. Let's see what this is going to say. I don't know if y'all can see that. The camera's not focused, but this says coming out. It says coming out. I don't know if I'm going to make that my first story, so let's shake the bag. Wait, some stuff popped. They all popped out. They all fell out the bag, so I can't cheat. There's nothing in the bag. So, I guess y'all going to get it for the first time. I don't think it's the first time. I'm nervous as fuck. I'm like, damn, why does it have to come out of the bag? I'm ready to put the stuff back in the bag and reshuffle, but we're not going to do that. Plus, I don't want to waste your time. But to everyone watching, please click the thumbs up button. Click the thumbs up. Share this video to Facebook, Twitter. I mean, don't even share it. Just watch it. Just watch the damn video. All right, so we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes since I pulled that story out of the bag, and I'm still like, am I going to really tell this story? I'm so undecided, am I going to tell or not? So I decided to stop being a bitch and get on camera and tell this story. I don't know if it's going to help anyone. I'm not making this video so it could be all inspirational and stuff. I'm just here because I'm going to tell my story. And again, to everyone watching, please click the like button. You can share this to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, text message, or however you choose to share. I don't care. Put it on Tumblr. Put it anywhere. You know, you can just tell this story. So I would say about a couple months ago, it probably was a month or maybe a couple months ago, I posted this picture on Instagram. You know, as a Throwback Thursday. It's me in an Old Navy shirt, and I'm at Six Flags Great Adventures in New Jersey. And I was like, oh my God, I had to come out later that night. That picture got 1 million likes, and a lot of people saying, you need to tell your coming out story. Even Lena Waithe was like, oh, well, you have to tell this story. I'm like, oh my God, do y'all really want to hear this story? Again, everybody said yes, and that comment got 1 million likes. So I say, all right, maybe one day I'll tell this story. Maybe I'll put it in a book one day. So, of course, I haven't wrote a book yet, but you never know, I might do a book. But I'm going to tell you guys on YouTube what happened. Now, I'm going to have to start around the age of 15 years old. I have to go all the way back, so that's almost 20 years ago. So, I was working at McDonald's. You know, everybody's first job was McDonald's. So just about everybody. First job was McDonald's. And I'm going to mute my phone so you don't get any more interruptions. So I was working at McDonald's. in the summertime and stuff like that. This was like around the year 2000. So then I was working at one, and then I realized that, oh, this is a whole franchise of McDonald's. I want to get transferred to a McDonald's that's near my house. So around the time, school started, I transferred to one that was closer to my house. And I worked there on a Saturday and stuff like that. And one of the guys that walked in, I said, oh, I knew he's gay. And I'm just 15 years old at the time. So, there was somebody that was working there in the morning time or whatever, but we didn't really have a chance to talk. But everybody wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing, and I'm like, yes, I know what I'm doing. And I had a cousin who had got me in there. So you know how when you have the holidays off from school, I'm like, well, anytime we're off from school, I'm willing to work in the morning. I work the morning shift. And on his morning shift, I met this guy. His name is Keenan. His name is Keenan because he is still my friend almost 20 years later. So I met Keenan and stuff. He was like, yeah, I heard you so-and-so cousin. And I'm like, yes, and stuff like that. I told him where I went to school, all of that stuff. We was just real cool. So I would say, I would see him on the weekends when I would work in the morning and stuff like that. And probably around that time, at this time I wasn't even sexually active or anything like that. But I think, he had that like I have, you could point somebody out. So this was after the time I became sexually active, because this is after 2001, we began to have these conversations. And I'm just like, maybe one day, I won't live this crazy life no more, because I could just consider it a crazy life. And I was like, I'm not going to be this crazy life. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have children. All of those things. And, it was 18 years later. None of those things happened. So I'm just like, this is, it is what it is, but I'm just going to do me for right now. I'm going to do what makes me happy and all of this stuff. So this had to be around April of 2001 or something like that, us having those conversations. And then, once school let out, what's around the time? Around school time, school gets out around June, and it's always June. So we got out of school around June. So then I started working more. Instead of working on the weekends, I started working more during the daytime. And because I'm trying to think. Okay, I started working during the daytime, and working more during the week because it's summertime. So during the summer, I really got to know Keenan. And we would hang out all the time. We would hang out down South Street. At this time, I'm out to him, but I'm not really out to nobody else. But I would have this friend that would come over here, all of this stuff like that. I'm not going to get into all of that stuff. So, once I really got to know Keenan, I got to know Javon, who was the manager that I saw that first day. Now, Javon, he ain't really like me. He sent me home one time, I was working there in the morning. I did something, he got upset. I remember what it was, but I ain't got time to get into all of that. He got upset, he cursed me out, Keenan defended me, stuff like that. So, I was just I don't know about him, because he don't really like me, all this and that. But once we started hanging out, we just became cool. And then at this McDonald's, it seems like everyone was gay. So I felt more comfortable working there. You have gay managers, female managers, the co-workers. It was just it was a gay McDonald's. But it was so much fun. So I would spend those summers going down South Street, going to 13th Street. Let me tell you something. Kevin was doing Kevin, okay? I'll be out late. It's funny now because I'm strict with my nieces, but I'm I was really doing me. I was going out late. I was going to the little clubs and stuff like that where you could be under 18 to go to the club, but the over 21 had to wear a wristband and be on the other side. I mean, I met a lot of people through Keenan. Keenan just really wanted to help me and stuff like that. He really helped me a lot because I'm just when I see some of these young children today, I'm just like, well, who is guiding you guys? Like, where are the mentors? Like, what is going on? Some of these children are a mess. So anyway, so we all decided that we were going to go to Six Flags at this time. So I remember I had to save my money because, you know, we would get paid on Tuesdays. That is so random to get paid on Tuesday. But anyway, I saved my money and stuff like that, and we all decided that we were going to go to Six Flags. Now, it wasn't the McDonald's that was going. It was me, Keenan, Javon, and, you know, their friends. So when I met them that day, you know, they are still my friends to this day. So we're talking about almost a 20-year plus friendship. So I met all of them. We had a great time at Six Flags. It was my first time on a roller coaster. It was called the Nitro. I remember it because we got there as soon as it opened and everybody was running to this Nitro roller coaster. And I'm getting on the roller coaster 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And we were there all day long. And I just was like, you know, I was just happy to be there. I was happy I could be me. I was like, don't nobody know me. I've always, let me tell you something. One thing about me is I'm always going to be me, and I always want to be me. And I don't like to shy from who I am. So that day, it was just like I'm around people. I know I feel really comfortable. So I had me a great time that day at Six Flags. So when I get home like around 9, 10 o'clock. One of these times I get home. So this is, I remember it's the first Saturday in July 2001. Whatever day that was, that's when it happened. I'm really good at knowing the days, but not this day. I don't remember. So I come home. I'm just telling my mom, yeah, I had a great time. I went to Six Flags with my friends and all this and that. So she's just like, about these friends. Is that guy that come in, is he gay? And I'm like, well, yeah, I have a lot of gay friends. And she didn't really ask me, like, am I? But she just was like, okay, well, I don't agree with that because guys said this and guys said that. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not going to stop being friends with somebody just because of that. So then, we were going back and forth. And then Nina just was like, point blank, are you doing this? And I was like, yes, I am. And then it was just like, I don't know, it was kind of just like fireworks that set off, but I'm like, it is what it is. This is what it's going to be. Y'all not going to like treat me no different. I'm the same Kevin before I was doing that, and I'm the same Kevin afterwards. And I just was like going on and on and on and on. I can't remember like what I said verbatim, but it was just kind of like, okay, it's out. My mom just like, okay, well, I don't agree with it, all this and that. And at this time, when I was still working, like, I didn't need to ask her for anything. I didn't have to ask her for nothing. I was working. I was getting my own little money and stuff like that. I was buying my train passes to get to work. I was hanging out. Like, Kevin was doing Kevin. So, I would say there was this one time, like, before school started, she just was like, I could see a change in you. Like, I noticed a change in you. She's like, I could tell how you dress, how you do this and how you do that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just getting older. And, I had more responsibilities and all of that stuff like that. So that was kind of like the last time that we started talking. Like, I would go to work, I would go up in my room, I would play my video games, or I would go out, with Keenan and stuff like that. I would just hang out every time. It was all the time. A lot on the weekends. That's when I got exposed to the balls, going down 13th Street, just seeing people. I mean, a lot of them are no longer here today, but Keenan was just, he really taught me a whole lot and guided me through a whole lot of stuff. And of course, the topic, HIV, AIDS, always wear condoms, always do this, always do that, never have sex. The basic stuff that we talk about today. And I still feel that even though we have those conversations, a lot of people do not follow those instructions. And I'm not going to go into that. But I'm going to go back to me. So yeah, so it was like when I saw 13th Street for the first time, I just was like, oh my God, like this is where all of you are. This is where all of you be. Like it was just a big eye-opening experience for me, and like I really met a lot of people. So let's go back to me doing me and all of that stuff. So, we had that conversation, and we really didn't have any more conversations. My mom was working, so while she's out working, Kevin is, when I tell you, I keep telling y'all, I was a hot ass fucking mess. So, I would say this is like, there was a Saturday, and this is like around October and November of that same year. She really didn't want to have those conversations. We just really didn't talk. But she was in the kitchen cooking, and she talked again about this change. And now I'll never forget it, because she was in all black, and she was in the kitchen, and she, stopped me from going upstairs. And we had this conversation, and we hugged, and we both cried. And she was just saying, like, I would never, like, disown you. I would never get rid of you, my son. How would I look throwing you out on the streets and all of this stuff? So, that was the conversation that we had in the kitchen. And, I mean, like, we were, like, crying and boo-hooing, and the food probably was burning because she was frying some shit on the stove. So, I would say, like, we still kind of like we were still like growing apart, but we still had some type of relationship. And at this time I had what I was doing. What was I doing? I wasn't working anymore, but I was still like going to different programs and stuff like that. And I would meet more people through these programs. Like it's still around. It's called Colors. I met a lot of people. They would talk to you. They have discussion groups and stuff like that. I mean, it was really it was a really good program, and I hope that a lot of teens take advantage of those programs. The Attic is still around. They had all kinds of programs. I went to the Attic once, but that really wasn't my thing. And so let me see. So this is like around, alright, so this is around 2001, so like around 2002, I'm like, alright, so now my family know. And of course you get those, oh, you a faggot, all this stuff. So that's old. But I got through that, because I didn't worry about that. I didn't let that, like, wear me down. Like, I know who I am, and that you calling me that is not going to stop me from being me, and it's never going to be a change. So around 2002, I got a phone call from my aunt. Now, this is on my dad's side. So she's like, Kevin, I want you to come to my house, and I want to talk to you, and I don't want no lies. And I'm just like, oh my God, she done found out. So I go to my aunt's house, and I'll never forget, I sat on her couch, and we were talking, and she was like, I heard that you was such and such, and I know that can't be true, because I know you would have told me all this and that. She's like, I feel like we have a close relationship, you could have told me. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, she wanted to know what I was out there doing, what role did I play. I'm just like, oh my God, I am not having this conversation. I kind of like had this guy, like, I kind of, this is like, it's just a phase, it's not going to be for long, all this and that. Oh, that was my mind at that time. I'm just like, it's fine, I'm fine, blah, 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 blah. And, everyone had this conversation about HIV and AIDS, and, be careful, protect yourself. My uncle, who's no longer with us, he had HIV. He passed away from it. But anytime we were together, I would just enjoy riding with him and talking with him. And he would just always tell me about, protecting myself and things like that. The only person, like, I never had that conversation with was my father. So at this time, like, let me see, because I'm on, okay, so I told you about my aunt, my uncle. Okay, so this is all like still around this time. people are still talking to me about HIV and AIDS. My mom had a conversation with me, and she was just telling me about one of our cousins who passed away. And I'll never forget him because I've had to be like around 7 or 8 years old at this time. And he came to our house around midnight. It was Christmas Eve, and he came to our house. He woke us up out of bed. He hugged us, told us how much he loved us, and we came down. I'm sorry, we came downstairs, and my mom cooked these pancakes and stuff. Like, we had pancakes and everything, and I had never seen him again. And my mom told this story to me about, you know, him passing from him. I'm gonna have to say it was probably AIDS. I'm not sure, but at that time it was really, really bad. But I remember her just telling me that she didn't want that to happen to me, so to always protect myself and stuff like that. So that was like the main thing, and I was just like afraid of ever catching it. But it was kind of like I still did some risky stuff at that time, and now I look and I'm just like, oh no, I can't be out here doing that. I just really can't. But so yeah, those are the main conversations that adults had with me. Coming out, like in school, Kevin was Kevin. Kevin, I didn't have to have this big old coming out at school in high school. Friends I still have to this day, Lisa and Dana. They were so cool. I met them like in my 10th grade year, and I still wasn't doing nothing at that time. Nothing didn't really happen until I was in my 12th grade year. But we have been friends, always been friends. Lisa and Dana, they come out, you know, like we hang out every couple times a year, but there was a time where we didn't hang out. But when we didn't hang out, it was just like, let's have some fun. It was like we never were apart. And that's how I had kept a lot of my friendships. Like, we'll text or we'll talk, and when we get together, it's like we were never apart. But I did have some friends that I just wasn't friends with anymore. A lot of the people that I grew up with, like, once we had moved from the projects, I was like, I'm different. Not different because I'm not in the projects anymore. I'm different because I felt like my life was changing, and I am starting to, you know, go for what I wanted. And a lot of them, you know, I can't see me being friends because I just felt like, okay, well, this is my sexuality, and I felt like that would come in between a lot of stuff. But some people that I went to school with, like elementary school, they're still my friends. Some of them are no longer here with us anymore. But I had one friend in particular, and I'm not going to say his name, but he was sent away. And he was like one of my best friends. He was one of I would call him my best friend at this time. And we had this conversation, like we would talk on the phone, like long distance. I didn't care because I was just like, well, I have a job. I can pay for these long distance bills, and I have to give my mom a certain amount of money. Remember when we had long distance phone calls and long distance bills? Now it's not a thing to even do a long distance phone call. But at this time, I think it was like 20 cents a minute or something like that. So anyway, we would just talk on the phone, and we would talk, and we would talk, and we would talk, and I would never tell him. But there was one time I got on this roof. This wasn't even my room at the time, but I got on this roof and we talked, and he was just so disappointed. And then he started telling me, but God this and God that. You know, everybody give you that conversation when they don't agree. They talk about what God says and stuff like that. And we saw each other, we hung out, and he just was like, I feel like we are going in two different directions. I feel like I can't turn you around to come back. And, you know, like we would have these conversations over the years, every couple years or so, but there was a point where I'm just like, you know, we're just not going to be friends anymore. My mom was telling me one time She said, your friends are your friends. If they can't accept you for who you are, then fuck them. And that's how I lived for a while. So if you didn't like me anymore, like we wasn't cool, well fuck you then. But I maintained a lot of my friendships. I maintained a lot. With him, I didn't have that friendship anymore, but I didn't experience a lot of rejection from people that I grew up with. He was just one of those people that we just weren't friends anymore. Everybody else, we just grew apart, and it's not like, oh, I can't speak to that nigga because he doing this and like, it's none of that. It's just like, I have a lot of friends on Facebook and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm just explaining this, but that was just the one friendship that I did lose. And my original best friend, who was one of my best friends through childhood, we communicate, you know, we play games together on the Xbox. He's just having children. I haven't met them yet, but we cool. His brothers, like, it's just like, nope, don't nobody care about that. And that's what I have experienced through a lot of people. I know that a lot of people can't say that. A lot of people may have been disowned by people. People wanting to jump them, fight them, beat them up for being who they are. I didn't have to experience that. And I'm glad I didn't have to experience that. But for me, what I can say is I love being who I am. I just love being Kevin. That's the main thing. I'm Kevin. And then all of that other shit comes afterwards. Because it's more to just being who you are than who you sleep with. There's so much more to who you are. And a lot of people like to focus on, oh, well, they need to go to hell. And it like, no, I'm not going to hell. I still believe in God. You know, you can't tell me that's where I'm going just because I love who I love. And I'm just glad that I can always be me. And if you can't accept me for being me, then fuck you. I still live by that, you know. But I'm glad that I don't have to explain myself to no one. I've never had to explain myself to no one except for when I was a teenager and everybody wanted to know. Today you can ask me, I'll tell you if I want to, but I don't, at this point, I don't even have to tell nobody. It is what it is. Nobody should have to tell who I sleep with. But one thing I don't do, I can't do it. I can't do the DL creep shit. That ain't me. Never will be me. And if you can't accept that, that's fine with me too. That's fine. But it's a lot of people that do their creep stuff. I'm not with that. But yeah, for me, it's been, I'm not talking like my life is over because it's not. You know, I'm 34 and I've been fortunate to do a lot of the things that I have wanted to do. And there's still a lot of shit that I want to do. And, you know, I'm just grateful. Like, for me, I have a YouTube show and I have been able to get a lot of people to see us for who we are. We have a good ass time. You know, McKellen not one of them party people, but I'm one of them party people. I like to go out, have a good time, drink, sometimes too much, and I shouldn't. But I love to have a good time. I love to travel. I love to do a lot of things. And I like to keep my circle with those kind of people. I don't keep negative people in my circle. And that's why I'm glad, you know, I've only lost maybe, I would say since I'm 34 and like 18, the most friendships I lost are with females and, you know, yeah, with females, and some of them were over stupid stuff, but you know, it is what it is. I'm just glad that my main circle of friends, even if I don't talk to them every day, we are still cool as fuck. And if we hung out tomorrow, after years, it'll be like there was no time apart. And you know, I don't know what else to say on this situation, but I know that everyone's story is different. Everyone just cannot come out and not be disowned by their mother, by their father. I never had a chance to tell my father anything. But when he passed, I talked to his girlfriend, who was one of his longtime girlfriends. Shouldn't say like he had a bunch of girlfriends, but when I was a child, they were together and they were some time apart. And then he got back with her. But she was telling me that my father knew, but he didn't care. And, you know, I wish I could have had that conversation with him, but I was so busy just like, F him. I said, F him. I don't have time to chase somebody to be my father. I felt like I didn't have to do that. And if he wants to talk to me, he will call me. He will come find me. And there was a time right before he died, a month before he died, he came to my house looking for me. Now, what my family didn't know is that I was across the street. I was across the street at my neighbor's house, and they said that I was downtown somewhere, and I wasn't. So I didn't have that time to see where he was at, because he was like going back home. But he passed away a couple weeks after that. Like, that was just crazy. They like, your father's in the hospital. He had a brain aneurysm, and you know, he was in Florida at this time when this happened. So I didn't have a chance to like go down to Florida. We had a really bad snowstorm. So there was no way for me to say goodbye or any of that stuff. So I just wish that I had the chance to have that conversation. I wish that I had the chance to like drink with my father. I wish I had to have a lot of those things, but I don't have a chance to have that. But what I got from Keenan is I have that in him. And he's been here for 20 years. And yes, we have our little arguments sometimes, but it's still the love and the bond that's between us. And he still helped me. And he's someone that will call me out on my shit, and I will call him out on his shit. And we could go back and forth. But, you know, I'm glad that I had that, you know, someone to guide me. And I'm glad that I made some bad choices, but I haven't made many bad choices that impacted my life in such a negative way, I would say. I'm glad. But, you know, that's a part. What time is it? Oh, this wasn't bad. It's not, what time did the clock say? Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So yeah, that's just my story. But you know what I want to say is that I'm glad that we have helped so many people, or open people's eyes to us, and see how, you know, we live, and see how we react to a lot of things. A lot of people have written us over the years, or say that we helped them get through a lot, and you know, I am so grateful for that. I can't tell you what's the right way to come out, but I would say keep your head up high and be yourself, and don't let other people dictate to you who you should be. You know, so I could be rambling on and on and on and on and on and on, but I'm not going to keep rambling. I just, you know, I'm glad that I got through this. I'm glad that I got this video out. And yeah, so look forward to the next story time. I can't believe I did it, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Please like this video, share this video, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, or wherever you choose to share this video. If you are someone who needs advice on coming out, or just about your life period, you know, my inbox is always open on Instagram. You know, if I don't follow you, I still can see the request on the other side. Or if it's something you want to say, you can always email the scorpionshow@yahoo.com. So yeah, I hope that this helps someone, and you know, you didn't just watch this video because you want to be newsy. So you know, and if you have any other story times that you want to hear, drop it down below. Thank you guys for watching. I got to get ready for Mikkel to come here so we can give you guys a new video, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.